Hello everyone, this is Just a Dad. We're going to do a detailed review of this Mainstays single serve coffee maker from Walmart. I got the black one. It comes in several different colors, but they run low on stock. These things sell out really quick, so when you see one, you may want to pick it up. Okay, so opening the box, it just pulls right out, and we're going to unwrap all the plastic. Okay, so after taking the plastic off, you got the only tape I see are these two pieces. Okay, so here's everything that's in the box. You've got this for making coffee with coffee grounds. And so something a little different, you got to push. Normally everybody wants to kind of pry this open, but push, and it pops open. So be careful. This is going to take the standard K-cup. There's the needle there. You've got a needle there. And this is for the K-cups. When you want to just do coffee, you're going to take that out and just put that in. So we close it, and again, you just push that, and it springs up. In the back, we've got, this is where you put the water. You know, it's not made the best, but does have, it says a water filter, but it's just a screen down there. This is kind of tricky to get out. So if you use two hands, this will come out. Like I said, it's just a screen, and then that's what's down in there. On the side, we've got two buttons. Looks like if you're using K-cup, you press that. If you're using ground coffee, you press that. It does have this tray, like a drip tray. It's pretty nice, but you can take it out. Looks like you can get like a taller mug in there if you had to. And does have cord storage, and the cord is not super long. So you do have to have some height. You have to have about 16 inches, or maybe 17. Give yourself 17 because you do have to lift that up. Front to back, oh, maybe 8 inches. And it's not very wide at all. So maybe about 5 inches. It's got a pretty small footprint. It's really, really lightweight. Okay, so before your first use, they want you to wash these with warm water. Again, be careful of that needle down there. Wash this and wash that filter. Okay, so before you use it, they want you to run fresh water through it with no coffee. So we're going to take this out. They say to put this filter basket in. Like I said, don't put anything in. Close the lid. We're going to put water back here. Fill it up to the max. Close that. Put our container down here. So something I just saw, it does have a max fill overflow. So if you fill it up too much, water is going to flow out that port. So we've got our water in. I've got it plugged in. It says to hit the ground coffee button. Okay, it's got a really nice blue LED that's flashing. Okay, so it sounds like it's heating up the water in the back there. So it's been about 2 minutes. The water level hasn't gone down any, and it's really starting to boil that water on the inside. Okay, so about the 2.5 minute mark, water starts coming out. And this is just a cleaning. We're just cleaning this, running fresh water through it. So it's going to brew, it's going to run how much ever water you put in back here. So that's going to be something you're going to want to watch, how much water you actually add, because it actually runs the entire water through. And it should shut off automatically when it's done. And it does get, some of the reviews said it does get a little loud towards the end, and it does. Okay, so I've cleaned it with fresh water through it. I'm going to divide this video into two parts. So it's a K-cup side. I'm going to do the K-cup first, and then we're going to do ground coffee through it. Okay, so we're going to be doing the K-cup side. We've got the K-cup holder in there. And again, it's got that needle down there. So when you put a K-cup in, you don't do anything to it. You just take it out of the box. You don't take the foil off it or nothing. You're just going to set it in there. Now we want to read the box. So I've got this French roast from Starbucks, but it says use the 8-ounce setting on your brewer. Well, in order for you to do that with this cheaper one, it doesn't have the automatic buttons that you push for 8 or 10 ounces. You've got to add the correct amount of water. So it does have a really nice step ladder, and the 8 ounces is right down. So we got to add the 8 ounces of water to brew 8 ounces. Okay, so here I got my K-Cup. I'm going to let the machine do the work. I'm just going to set it in there. It doesn't matter. It can be turned any which way. But when I close this lid, it's going to do the piercing for me. It's going to pierce the bottom and the top. So you do got to kind of press it down until it snaps and doesn't want to come up. Now we need to add our water. 8 ounces. So I'm not sure what the best way, you can, a lot of people just, so you're going to put water in your coffee mug, and you kind of know what 8 ounces is after a while. And you can just use your coffee mug to put the water in. If it's close to your sink, you may use your spray wand. I've just got this container here of water. I've got to fill it up to the 8-ounce mark. Okay, 8 ounces. Close that. Make sure I got my coffee mug underneath there. And then I got to come over here to the capsule. That's what they call the K-Cup side. I'm going to press that button. It's going to take a couple minutes. So you can brew the K-Cups more than they say. It's a little watered down than what it was designed for. So this is going to have that standard. It's kind of heating the water up. And then when it gets it all ready to go, then it's going to dump it out all at once. Okay, so after about 2 minutes, you can hear it turn on a little pump, and then that's when the water starts coming out. This is going to be brewed coffee. So towards the end of it, it does get a little loud. I'm going to let it stop dripping. Okay, so yeah, about 2 minutes is all it takes. We're going to take it out. It might be good to stir that, but we're going to check the temperature. Wow, that's right on, 165. That's right where it should be. Let's see how it tastes. So that tastes like a K-Cup. To me, K-Cups taste a little weak sometimes. But like I said, I'm not the best at taste testing, but that would make a very good cup of coffee. So a nice feature is after brewing, all the lights go out and it just shuts itself off. So you want to be careful with the size of coffee mug you pick, because it is going to brew all the water you put in. So if I would have filled it up to the top, it would have overflowed this coffee mug. So be careful with that. You're going to get used to how much. So like I can see this, so that's how much water I would use the coffee mug to add the water next time, and that way I know. Okay, so now let's get the K-Cup out. We got to push this button. That pops up. Be careful, that needle kind of sticks in your way, but you're going to reach in there and grab the K-Cup, and we're just going to throw this away. Looks like it pretty well cleans up pretty good. Now you can take this out and rinse that out. So I like to take just a minute. I like to show people what's inside these K-Cups. These things are really, there's a lot going on inside them. I'm going to cut one open. So there's the hole that gets pierced on the bottom and it injects the water, pierces the top and injects water. Okay, so here I cut the bottom off, and it's got this really heavy plastic that kind of keeps the filter in there. Like I said, there's the bottom. So that's like a filter from a coffee maker. That's really intricate how they make these. So I cut the top off too, and I push the filter basket up from the bottom, and you get they pack a lot of coffee into those K-Cups. So let's do a mocha latte cup. So I bought these mocha latte cups, and they say to brew on the 10-ounce setting. So we're going to put 10 ounces of water. Again, make sure you've got a big enough container for 10 ounces. Okay, so we'll put the mocha latte in. We're going to push this down. You do have to use a little bit of force to make sure it snaps and doesn't want to pop open. We're going to put the water in the back. It's kind of a small opening, but it's manageable. Okay, there's 10 ounces. So these mocha latte K-Cups, they say they come with everything in them. The coffee, the sweetener, and the real milk. It's all in the K-Pod. The coffee's a little weak. So I'm going to show you how we're going to brew an espresso shot from this and add it to it. But I've got my water in and my K-Cup in. We're just going to hit the capsule button. That's for K-Cups. Okay, so it's brewing the latte. Okay, so it's done brewing the latte. And like I said, this is a pretty sweet drink from those K-Cups. So let's say we want to add a little kick to that, an espresso shot. Let's take our donut thing out. So I use coffee K-Cups for espresso shots. Espresso K-Cups are kind of hard to find, but we're just going to run a small amount of water through this. So I've got my K-Cup in, close it, and we're just going to use a small amount of water. I'm not even sure it'll come up to the 6 ounce. Okay, I've got my small amount of water. It's not even showing up yet. But we're going to come over here and hit the K-Cup. It's going to flash, and it should add an espresso shot to that. Okay, so now it's added my espresso shot. It's going to give it a real big kick. So see how you can regulate how much water you put in is how much water comes out and through your K-Cup. So now I want to stir that in because the caffeine tends to go to the bottom and settle. But that's actually a really good drink. So yeah, now that tastes really good. Yeah, it's got a definite caffeine kick to it. We'll do one more drink. This is a cappuccino drink. And again, these single serves, they say it has mild coffee and vanilla already in it. And it wants you to put it on. So cappuccinos are smaller drinks. It wants you to put it on the 8 fluid ounces. So what's nice about, I forgot that you can take this tray out. You can use that little handle there and take this over to the trash can and dump it out. So we're going to put our K-Cup in. We're going to press it down. Kind of snaps. You don't get a real definite snap. You don't get a definite feel that it's closed, but you can kind of, okay, it doesn't want to lift back up. So I'm finding you do have to have room. You got to get your head back here. You got to be able to see how much water you're adding. Or you could just measure before you put it in, but we want to put 8 ounces. Okay, there's 8. It fills up quick. Got my K-Cup in, got the water in, got my container down here, and we're going to hit the K-Cup capsule. So after about 2 minutes, you hear that little pump kick on, and here comes the cappuccino. So towards the end of the drink, just water's coming out. It's rinsing out the inside of that K-Cup. So it'd be a good idea to stir this up. And you could add another espresso shot to this. This is a pretty weak drink from the K-Cups. We've made a latte, we've made coffee, we've made a cappuccino. So this single serve, the K-Cups are for convenience. The K-Cups are just super, super convenient for fixing really quick drink. Cleanup is easy. You just got to throw away the K-Cup, and there's not much else. You can kind of get these really quick and on the go. Okay, so now we're going to do the coffee maker side. And the manual says you're going to add anywhere between 6 and 14 ounces of water. So check what size coffee mug you have. This coffee mug here takes around 12 ounces. So here is something you're really going to have to watch. Okay, so this max line is on the outside. Now, I want to explain this to you. I got mixed up here. So the max is not above the words, it's below. You really can't see the line. There's kind of like a manufacturing defect, but the max line should be right here. That's the max line. And you can't see it on the inside. So I've got 2 tablespoons of coffee in there right now. And it's not quite up to the max. So about 2.5 tablespoons. Okay, so with 2.5 tablespoons in there, you're supposed to use 1 tablespoon of coffee per cup. Now that's the cup on these coffee makers. So I've got this old 5-cup pot here, so I filled it up to the 2.5 mark. I want to see how much water that actually is. So that's 14 ounces. So yeah, that coincides with the right proportions. So up to the max line, and 14 ounces is the most this coffee maker can hold. You don't want to put anything more than 14 ounces in. 14 ounces says it's the max, but it also has this little port here. If you go above that, it will overflow. So 14 ounces, that's about the standard travel mug size. We're going to try some different travel mugs here in a minute. But first, let's brew a cup of coffee. So I've got this filter basket. I'm just going to place it in here. And this is going to be a little easier to close. We're just going to close it. It's going to snap. Put my coffee mug in there. I can use this coffee mug to add the water, but I've got this little container here. So we're going to pour the water in. We're going to close it. Now we're going to use the ground button. This is for ground coffee. I'm going to time it and we'll do some temperature checks. Okay, so after 2 minutes it starts brewing the coffee. Okay, so towards the end it does get a little loud and the water is a little clearer coming out. So you may want to stir that up. Okay, so in 3 minutes you can have a cup of coffee. We're going to take it out. We're going to do a temperature check. Yep, a little cooler, but not much. I'm going to stir that up and we're going to taste it. So I'm a cream and sugar guy. That tastes like a really good cup of coffee. I'm really, you know, these things do make a really good cup of coffee. So now let's see how cleanup is. We're just going to press this in. Okay. The coffee grounds did not come above the basket. So I did a cup earlier and I filled this up way too high and I had coffee all over. I'm like, oh, I did something wrong. Well, yeah, I filled it up too high. That's why when I showed you that max line, it's below the letters. So cleanup will be real simple. We're going to take this out. It will drip on you as you go to the trash can, but we're just going to dump the grounds out. Okay, so this was 12 ounces. We're going to try some travel mugs. Now, I did notice this is my favorite travel mug, and unfortunately it doesn't fit. Even if I take this little drip tray out, you get some more room, but there's a little something that sticks down that's kind of preventing it from. It just almost goes in, and even if I try that way, I just can't get it in. So that travel mug is not quite 7 inches tall. But I do have this other travel mug and it just barely fits in there. It looks like it's about 6.5 inches, maybe just a little bit above 6.5 inches tall. And it's probably the max you can get underneath there. So I wanted to do a test. So 14 ounces is the most water we can put in this coffee maker. And I want to see if that'll fill up this travel mug. So yeah, that's, you know, it's a little short, but this will be, you know, that'll get you some good coffee for a travel size. And so if I wanted to do a travel mug, I would just leave that water in there. Again, pouring it in the back is a little tricky with the container, but Yeah, if you do it slow, it works out okay. And then we would put this in there. Just barely fits. And then we could brew a travel cup size. So to finish up here, you know, black is not the most appealing color for this because it's kind of rounded. They do sell this in some other colors, but they're harder to get. This is all that comes in the box. You just got your coffee grounds and your K-cups. Cleanup is, so you can clean up around here. That's easy to wipe out. But all in all, this is a really nice coffee maker. It made a really good single serve cup of coffee. And the K-cup side is really simple. You get to play around with the water sizes. But this thing worked really, really well. On a final note, like I said, the max. So the max line for coffee is below the words. It's not up here. I put coffee up to this spot here, and I got coffee grounds. Like I said, we're all around here. And it was really hard to clean up. I'm like, I did something wrong, and I did. So just make sure you don't put coffee above there. I like that it shuts off automatically. You know, it's 20 bucks from Walmart. It doesn't, some stuff doesn't line up all the way, but I'm going to do a comparison video. I've got a Keurig K Classic. I'm going to set the two side by side and just kind of demonstrate them. But all in all, for 20 bucks, this thing actually does what it's supposed to do. It doesn't have some of the fancy features the Keurig's got, but it gets the job done. If you could, please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.